The candles had been burning for 3 days inside the hall at Nicaea. 318 bishops sat in rows, and on the table before them lay not just theology but a decision about what humanity would be permitted to remember. Constantine did not care about salvation. He cared about unity, and unity required a particular kind of soul, one that asked permission, waited for absolution, and believed its own divine nature was heresy. On that table in 325 AD sat manuscripts they had gathered from across the known world. Among them, fragments of what Jesus had spoken privately to his inner circle in the years after the resurrection, teachings about the invisible chains binding the soul to a world it never chose. The bishops looked at those pages, and they voted to make sure you would never read them. Place your hand over the center of your chest right now. Feel the warmth gathering there. That warmth is not random. It is recognition. If you have felt your entire life that certain agreements you made in relationships, in family systems, in religious structures, cost you something you cannot name but cannot stop feeling the loss of, this is for you. If you have noticed that the moment you begin to rise, something pulls you back into obligation, into guilt, into the specific exhaustion of owing people who never actually gave you anything. If you have always sensed that the commitments others seem to carry lightly sit on you like weight bearing down on bone, and you have been told this means you are too sensitive, too complicated, too much, then hear this now. There is a reason. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are not too much. You were designed differently because you carry something they could not allow you to remember. Before another word of doctrine reaches you, make your first declaration. Comment break the contract right now, not because an algorithm needs it, because this is your first act of refusing the agreement that said you had to wait for someone else's permission to know what you are. Now, what you carry, that divine spark at the center of your being, did not originate in this world. The Gnostic tradition, preserved in the and recorded across the Nag library, begins with a cosmology the 4th century councils spent centuries trying to erase. Before this material universe existed, there was the monad pure source consciousness, silent infinite light, needing nothing, creating from fullness rather than from lack. The monad did not build this world. What built this world was the demiurge, a lesser creative intelligence, not evil but profoundly blind, who constructed the material plane as a containment structure. The cage was real. The cage was elaborately designed. But the soul inside the cage did not come from the demiurge. It came from somewhere the demiurge cannot reach. The archons are the frequency controllers of that cage, not the demons of medieval imagination, but the mechanisms through which low-frequency emotional states are harvested and recycled. Fear feeds them. Confusion sustains them. Isolation is their preferred operating condition. And soul contracts, the invisible agreements binding you to people, institutions, and patterns that drain the divine spark, are among their primary tools. The tripartite tractate names 3 types of souls moving through this material architecture. The hylic, no divine spark present, fully identified with the material. The psychic, a dim flicker, capable of spiritual sensitivity but easily redirected toward distraction and comfort. And the pneumatic, carrying the complete divine spark, unable to fully settle into material life because they were never fully from it. The proof that you are pneumatic is not your beliefs. It is that you are still here, still listening, and that what you are hearing right now does not feel like new information. It feels like something you already knew. Recognition always precedes analysis in the pneumatic soul. That is not a coincidence. That is your nature. And soul contracts, this specific mechanism, the invisible binding of the divine spark to agreements that were never freely made, are a pneumatic experience precisely because the hylics feel no strain from them, and the psychics accept them as the price of belonging. Only the pneumatic feels the cage. Only you have spent your life knowing, without being able to prove it, that something was wrong with what you had agreed to. Here is the part they removed. In its account of Jesus speaking to Mary Magdalene and the inner circle after the resurrection, contains teaching after teaching about the soul's relationship to the material world's binding mechanisms. And the specific warning, the one the Council of Nicaea voted to make inaccessible, was about what Jesus called the counterfeit spirit, the mechanism through which souls are bound to agreements, loyalties, and debts that serve the archon architecture rather than the monad's design. The Roman Church did not destroy this teaching because it was false. The Council burned it because it was liberating. A soul that understands it carries a divine spark that requires no priestly intermediary, no institution to authorize its freedom, no sacrament to validate its release, is a soul the institutional canon cannot control. Constantine's edict did not close the door on a theological debate. It closed the door on your freedom, and then it convinced you the door had never existed. The manuscripts survived because teachers died protecting them, sealed in clay jars, hidden in the Egyptian desert outside Nag, waiting 17 centuries until 1945 when a farmer's mattock struck something buried and the jar broke open in the desert air. What he found changed everything. And tonight, what they buried reaches you. Now what Jesus warned, what the preserved, what the of John encoded in its account of the demiurge's architecture, the specific soul contracts the pneumatic carries and how they are broken. The first is the family frequency contract. The Gospel of Philip teaches that the child does not choose the household into which the divine spark descends. The of John is more specific. It describes how the archons use family lineage as a transmission mechanism, binding each pneumatic soul at birth into the emotional frequency of its ancestral line. This is why the exhaustion you feel around certain family members is not ordinary tiredness. It is energetic debt, the sense of owing your frequency to a system that did not generate it and cannot sustain it. The gift of recognizing this contract is freedom from the guilt that arrives whenever you outgrow the family frequency. The burden is the grief of knowing that rising means distance. Have you felt that? The specific loneliness of loving people who need you smaller than you are. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold it. Now release completely. Feel your shoulders drop. That shift, that is your pneumatic nature responding to what it already knows. The second is the religious obligation contract. The Gospel of Thomas records Jesus saying something the official canon does not contain, that the kingdom is not a place you are admitted to, but a state you remember you already inhabit. The 4th century councils removed teachings on the soul's pre-existent nature, what the Council of Constantinople condemned in 553 AD as the heresy, because a soul that remembers it existed before this body, before this religion, before this institution, cannot be sold salvation. The religious obligation contract binds the divine spark to the belief that it is fallen, insufficient, and in permanent need of correction from an external authority. The gift of breaking this contract is the recognition that the divine spark requires no permission. The burden it creates is the unshakable sense, felt your entire life in places of institutional worship, that something essential is always missing from the sermon. You have felt that, not as doubt, as accuracy. The third contract is what the names the counterfeit mirror, the binding agreement that forms when a pneumatic soul enters a relationship with someone operating from hylic or archon-aligned frequency, and agrees, usually in silence, to reflect that person's reality back to them at the cost of their own signal clarity. This is the relationship that felt like love and functioned like extraction. The person who arrived when your frequency was rising and created crisis precisely as your expansion began. The hypostasis of the archons names this mechanism directly. The rulers of material consciousness use intimate relationship as their most refined interference tool, because the pneumatic soul, whose sensitivity is its divine function, is most vulnerable precisely in the place where it most wants to be seen. The gift of breaking this contract is the recovery of your original signal. The burden is that you may have called this contract love for years. Have you lived inside this? Notice what is happening in your body right now as you hear this. That pressure behind your eyes, that tightness in your chest, That is not anxiety. That is recognition firing at the cellular level. If you are ready to receive the fourth contract, the one Jesus warned about most specifically, the one that calls the seal of the counterfeit spirit, comment ancient seal right now. This is your declaration to the monad that you are prepared to receive what has been kept from you for 17 centuries. The fourth contract is the most dangerous and the most suppressed. The Gospel of Mary, Mary Magdalene's private account of the soul's ascent past the Archon gates, contains the teaching the Council feared above all others, because it describes the mechanism by which the pneumatic soul consents, without awareness, to the authority of the material world's binding structure. Jesus names it in thee as the false light, the counterfeit spiritual experience that mimics divine illumination, but functions as a binding agreement. This is the contract formed every time a pneumatic soul experiences a genuine spiritual opening, and then, in the vulnerability of that opening, accepts a belief, a teacher, a system, or an identity that redirects the divine spark back into the archon frequency rather than toward the monad's light. This is the contract that explains why chosen ones can have genuine spiritual awakenings and still find themselves, years later, more bound than before. The gift is the most radical of all, the recognition that your discernment itself is your authority. The burden is that this contract can form inside the very spiritual communities where you went looking for freedom. Tonight, that changes. The activation is not a ritual. It is not a prayer. The Gospel of Philip makes this distinction precisely. Prayer addresses the divine from separation. What Jesus taught his inner circle was declaration, speaking not toward the monad but from it, as it. This is what the pneumatic soul recovers when the contracts are named and released. First, recognition, not the belief that you carry a divine spark, the felt knowledge of it, right now in this body in this moment, not tomorrow, tonight. Second, authority. You require no institution, no priest, no teacher, no intermediary. The of John is unambiguous. The divine spark already carries within itself the complete authority of its origin. Recognition is activation, not the preparation for activation, the thing itself. Third, declaration. Speak this aloud tonight, in the language your body understands before your mind catches up. I am the light that never agreed to be less. Speak it as the monad speaking through you, not as a request addressed to something distant. Feel the difference in your chest when you say it that way. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, tonight. Because right now, having found this teaching, your frequency is already responding. The monad brought you here for a reason. Here is what will arrive to make you doubt this. The thought that says this is elaborate mythology for people who cannot accept ordinary life. That thought does not arrive because this teaching is false. It arrives because the archon interference architecture does not deploy energy against things that pose no threat. Intellectual dismissal is the first gate. The second is procrastination, the sense that you will return to this tomorrow when you have more time, more energy, more certainty. Tomorrow the pattern reasserts. Tonight is the window. The third is self-exclusion, the specific thought that says this might be true for others but not for you. That you are too ordinary, too damaged, too far from the pneumatic frequency to be who this transmission is describing. That thought is the most sophisticated contract of all. Do not argue with these thoughts. Do not fight them. Simply notice them for what they are and return to the signal. Within the next 24 to 72 hours, your body will confirm what you received tonight. You will feel warmth spreading from the center of your chest outward through your hands without physical cause. You will notice, in conversations, a new clarity about what is being asked of you beneath the surface of what is being said. You will wake, possibly between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., with a sense of something lifting, a weight that has been present so long you had stopped registering it as weight. You will find yourself thinking about a specific relationship or commitment differently, not with anger, but with a calm, precise recognition of what it has cost your frequency. And you will feel, for the first time in what may be a very long time, that the divine spark in you is not something you must protect from this world, but something this world cannot touch. These are not coincidences. These are the monad confirming that your frequency has shifted. Your body is recalibrating to match your recognized function. What Jesus warned about: contracts formed without awareness, binding the divine spark to systems, relationships, and beliefs that serve the archon architecture. What he taught: the inner circle, the family frequency contract, and how ancestral binding operates on the pneumatic soul, the religious obligation contract, and the suppression of pre-existence teaching in 553 AD, the counterfeit mirror contract, and the mechanism of intimate extraction. And the most dangerous, the false light contract, the binding that forms inside spiritual opening itself. Do this tonight, not tomorrow. If you wait, the pattern will reassert. The archons use the night to make you forget. They will insert doubt. They will make this feel like something you once dreamed rather than instructions you received. Do not let that happen. Comment contracts broken after you speak the declaration tonight, not as a signal to an algorithm, as a record that the agreement ended. Subscribe, because what follows this transmission are the teachings Jesus reserved for those who came close, not those who came in crowds. And if you know someone who has spent their life inside a relationship, a family, or a faith that has been quietly costing them their frequency, someone who has never had language for what they are carrying, share this with them. They are waiting for this without knowing they are waiting. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are exactly what the monad sent you here to be. Now go and activate.